Bear with me here. You guys can hum the tune to Jeopardy in your mind if you want to. Okay, we'll reconvene at 5:24 for the normal board meeting. All right. We will continue with the revision, adoption, ordering of the agenda. I believe we had something that needed to be pulled, or have we already pulled it?
No, we're requesting pulling the information item, the board policy 3000 series, to be pulled, please.
15.5. Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Anything else you guys feel need to be pulled? No, nothing moved? Okay. Please vote on that minus 15.5. Thank you. Report out of closed session.
We have one item out of closed session. In closed session by a vote of 5-0, the Board of Trustees sustained the termination of employee number 225129, plant supervisor. The motion was made by Trustee Agundes and seconded by Trustee Twyman.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Okay. District update by the superintendent.
Yes, we have a couple things. I hope they're here. We're supposed to have a presentation by the NJROTC from Paloma Valley High. Is Master Sergeant Puebla here? Oh, yes. Master Sergeant Puebla and your students. Or just the students, I guess. They're better anyways.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished members of the panel. We're representatives from Paloma Valley High School's NJROTC. I am the cadet commander of the program, which makes me one of the top leadership. I'm Cadet Commander Smith.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Cadet Lieutenant Commander Sosa, and I'm the battalion executive officer of the battalion.
Okay, so to talk a bit about our past and present of things that we've done is recently, well, not this past year, but in past year we have competed nationally at Florida and ranked 17th in the nation. And that's one of the things that we're currently striving to work on as well. We've also been able to be the second school to hold the largest flag. We're doing that also Friday night, this upcoming football game, for our military appreciation night, and it was a huge honor. It takes about 250 people to unravel this flag that goes from end zone and end zone across our field. We've also been able to help out the community in various amounts of community service. To name some, we've done Albertsons and helping them with holiday meals for veterans who can't afford it for themselves currently. And we've also been able to do Menifee Helping Hands, which was 5 hours with about 60 cadets. We've also done local color guards at our football games, volleyball games, basketball games, and we have done Staples color guards. And we're also doing another Staples Center color guard on October 10th, which we are excited to get our teams out there so that they have that recognition of, you know, I'm representing something more than myself, I'm representing my country. We've also been able to do our basic leadership training, which was a 3-day at the school. They're spending the night. Leadership, it was waking up at 4 in the morning so that they can get ready before they had to wake up the cadets at 5 in the morning, going to sleep around the middle of the night so that leadership going to sleep later than the middle of the night so that we were making sure that everything was prepared for them, teaching them in things like discipline, leadership, followership, how to communicate, how to stop bullying, and all these different topics that we allowed other cadets to teach them so that they can learn upon other high school and reflect on themselves, on how they are and how they want their school year to be.
Okay, so I will be telling you about the purpose of our program. So one of the many things that we like to teach before they become leaders is learning how to be followers. The CO and myself, we started out as young freshmen and we were just followers when we started. And here we are now as a leadership. So we like to definitely teach them about teaching to respect their seniors and whoever is superior to them. We also like to instill values of citizenship. I'm sure all the people that are currently present, I'm sure you want all of your children to be good citizens after they graduate. So that's one of our main purposes, is to teach them how to be good citizens so that they can be very, 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 very good after they graduate. Another thing that we like to teach them is personal responsibility. Within our battalion, we have tiny little billets, as we call them, or jobs that we like to assign to our cadets. So it teaches them about learning how to take tasks within a certain amount of time, and then it teaches them how to take care of their own responsibility and manage their time wisely. Another thing that we like to instill in is a sense of accomplishment. We do present them with ranks, so if they do accomplish something great, but we don't like to put emphasis on that rank itself. We like to teach them that it's more than just a rank. It's more than just getting a ribbon. It's about the hard work and the blood, sweat, and the tears that you do put into it. One of the other things that we like to teach is, like I said before, is the respect. So we teach them how to speak to, like I said, as a panel. We like to teach them about speaking out in the public, and it's just one of the many things that we like to emphasize on. And lastly, the last thing that I like to put some light on is our teamwork. We do physical training weekly, and one of the many activities that we do is an ultimate football game. The ultimate football game isn't just a normal football game. It's our chance to actually get to know our cadets and learn and be a team for once. So we compete competitively, but we also like to bond with our other cadets that aren't on the competition teams, and we like to just get to know each other. And that's basically what we're all about.
Okay, so our vision, which is one of the things that I'm most excited about to accomplish this year, between me and the leadership, it's our vision for other cadets, our peers, our students that we see all around us, is recognizing that they have amazing potential. And it's not very often that students recognize that other students have this amazing quality within them that they can always improve on. So overall, our GPA as a program, we want to improve it for everyone. It's not just about our teams that compete, it's about our unit as a whole. And so we're working on constant grade checks, tutoring, and all these other activities in which we can help them. We have many cadets taking advanced courses, dual enrollment courses, and even then taking the normal courses that are excelling in those classes and are able to help other cadets out by tutoring them, showing them a different way to understand it that maybe the teacher wasn't able to comprehend to the student. We also want to help seniors gain scholarships. Currently, me, the XO, and our third in command, our mass chief, who was unable to be here due to cross-country that he's involved in, and this, is helping gain a scholarship, and we're working on that currently between us three. We were just given one. And it's working on helping our seniors get a future and helping our juniors look forward to a future that they can excel in. That way, when they get here, they don't always have to worry about, these money things and worried about how they're going to get there, where they're going to go, and all these different things. We want to be able to help them to have this vision of themselves of being where they want to be. We also want to provide a helping hand to the community because as a program, we wouldn't be where we are today unless we had those different opportunities. And we want to provide those opportunities to our cadets to help out their community and be a part of something bigger so that when they walk around town, they can say, oh, yeah, here is where I helped someone else out, and have that pride in service, that it's not just this hard labor working, but you feel like you're doing something for the greater good and you enjoy it. We also want to work on new fundraising opportunities so that as long as with the labor and the work, that they're getting to know each other and building that bond as a battalion, as a team and as a school, just to have that pride in fundraising. Currently, we're planning a movie night for Halloween. It's something simple, but it's those snacks and opportunities where we build bonds, where you're not worried about what other people are thinking about you, but you can just be yourself. And we want to really expand on that because each one of them, our saying is, we're not better than the other schools, but we're different. We're not better than any other student, but we're different. And the standards that we hold ourselves and we show ourselves differently than anyone else chooses to show themselves. That everyone has the potential to have this amazing quality and show it. And we're teaching them to pull out those qualities in their toolbox and not just use the hammer on the nail, but use every single tool that they can and expand upon that. We get the shy ones who don't want to scream and yell and present all these different things, but helping them to get out of their comfort zone and push themselves to their limits only to find out that that wasn't their limit, and that, our saying also that we have up there is constant and never-ending improvement, because we want to improve the overall productivity of the battalion, not just in competing, but in participating in things that they enjoy, like cross-country, like robotics team, like all these other activities that different students are competing in. And it's being a part of something bigger than just a battalion, but being a group that cares more about each other than they do about themselves. And that's what our constant and never-ending improvement is. This is our vision for this year, but our vision for next year is only going to get greater and greater. So we want to thank you for all of your time and letting us present our program to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I also wanted to recognize Ryan Lundstrom from Paloma Valley High School for being identified by RCOE as an outstanding AP Calculus instructor. Ryan's been invited to teach at the inaugural UCR AP Readiness Program for how well his students have done in calculus on the AP test. The program provides supplemental instruction support for students and teachers from other schools, and it'll be held one Saturday a month, and he's there representing our district, so we're proud of Ryan and what he's done. This past Saturday I was able to attend the Salute to Heroes Appreciation Night at the Promenade Mall in Temecula. The event was sponsored by the Veteran Supplemental Support Network, and they recognized members of the military, first responders, and teachers. And we were lucky enough, we had 2 of our teachers that were nominated and selected to receive the Heroes in Education Award. One of the winners was Mary Clifton, a health teacher at Heritage High School. And the other winner is here actually tonight, Mr. Will Wilson, the ASB advisor from Paloma Valley. Congratulations, Will. We're almost completed with our back-to-school night season. We have one more to do, and that'll be coming up shortly. But it's been very interesting to go out to see everything that's going on at the schools, and they've all done a great job in organizing it and having really good programs for the parents and the students coming up. A couple weeks ago, we had our summer graduation. We had about 16 students graduate that went through the ceremony. We had more that graduated but didn't come for the ceremony. But it was good to see those kids getting that recognition and getting to walk across the stage in their cap and gown, and for their families to see the pride in their families. It's great to see that. It's just a path less traveled for those kids, but they got there, so that's the important thing. Last week, we took all the cabinet and all the principals went to the equity conference out in Indian Wells. It was very eye-opening for me, at least, what they talked about and some of the speakers, and it really brought forth to me something that's going to drive a lot what I do. They talked the difference between equality and equity. Equality is when we give everybody the exact same thing. That's being equal. But equity is, how are we going to help those kids or those families that need extra help, getting them up to the same level as everybody else? The equity is helping that group that is missing something and getting them up to what we want them to be doing. So that was an eye-opener for me. And the last thing I have, I just want to thank the board and everybody that came to the reception, my welcome reception last week. It was great to see. We had a couple hundred people there. It was a very nice event, and I appreciate all the support from the board and from our local community. So that's my report from this evening, President Nelson. Yes. Was I going to give you a couple minutes? Was I supposed to give you a couple minutes? Oh, yes, the 2 students, Don. Yes, I wanted to bring up Don Williamson also for.
Can we clap?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Good evening, President Nelson, members of the board, Superintendent Bennett, and members of the cabinet. I'll be honest, I'm feeling kind of like a proud father tonight with my ROTC people here, and Ryan Lundstrom with his recognition, and now I've got 2 more people that I'd like to recognize and bring to your attention. Gilbert Martinez and Roxana Quinones. Would you come up, please? Roxana, right here. Gilbert, right here. These 2 young people are 2 of my heroes at Paloma. They did not even think twice. We had a student who was thinking of hurting themselves. And these 2 stepped in immediately to stop that student from hurting themselves. And because of their quick action and their selflessness, they did such a great thing for somebody else. And this is the kind of student we have at Paloma. These 2 are going to do some great things with their lives. I've already heard about Gibby. I mean, I guess he's going to go and be a comedian at Hollywood. So, Mr. Provenzano has already claimed 15% stake in your earnings that you get over there. But because what they did, they resolved the situation until they could get help from an adult. And I just want to thank them publicly And I just want to tell them I've got each them I've got a certificate, and for each one, that's for you. And that's for you. And on top of that, Herf Jones has also given us a couple of certificates for you. And rather than me decide who gets what, Roxana, I'm going to let the girls go first. You can either pick Ms. Raines or Mr. Williams, and you get to go up, and they will give you the certificate from them, and then Gibby will get the other one. So pick one. Okay. Gibby going up to Mr. Williams. So Roxana got a $25 gift certificate from Amazon, and Gibby got a $25 gift certificate from Regal Theaters. So thank you so much. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. Gibby, congratulations. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And it's great to see the kids wanting to give back to their own and take care of their own. It's when you're taking care of your own, you're making a difference in our schools and our community. So congratulations to both of you. One other thing I forgot, my first night, so I'm forgetting some things. We have United Way representatives here tonight, and they'd like to make a presentation. I'd like to introduce Norma Sanchez and Aline Barbosa.
Thank you very much. It's really an honor to be here. Your school district has raised over $50,000 for the United Ways of the Inland Valleys and Central United Way. That is amazing. Not only does your staff give to the community by their service, by their jobs, everything that they do every single day, they actually give from their money. They give to change people's lives. They give through payroll deduction. They do this for housing, food, shelter, to help people in our community. I'm here today to present a plaque. There's two United Ways. This is for 5 schools and the school district that raised $15,258, and the other school, Central Valley, raised. The schools in that area raised $35,000, together over $50,000. What an honor it is for me to be here to present this to you, Superintendent Bennett. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Okay, student representatives to the Board of Trustees. We got a whole new batch this year. Some returning, some new. From Heritage High School, student representative Daniela Lopez. Oh, is there another one too? I only have one listed, so does something come on it? Yeah. What was your name?
Ashley Garcia.
Ashley Garcia as well. Take it away, ladies.
Okay, so good evening, Mr. Bennett, members of the Cabinet, President Nelson, and members of the board. My name is Daniela Lopez. This is Ashley Garcia, and we'd like to show you some recent happenings at Heritage High School, and we hope you guys enjoy the pictures and our presentation starting off our new school year. Do I just click this one? Okay. Anywhere? Okay.
Over the past month, FFA held 2 events, one which was a movie night and they watched Zootopia. The other event was the annual Green Hand Conference. It was a 2-day conference where they learned new leadership skills, created new friends from other schools, and created new memories with all the fun activities the conference has to offer.
And also this year, they started the new ag class, and they're excited because it's the ag mechanics. And this class teaches different skills and mechanical skills necessary in agricultural and trade fields. Okay, so this is the most wonderful week of anything. I like to call it Spirit Week. The Spirit Week where we don't have to stress about what to wear.
Here are some pictures from our first Spirit Week of the school year promoting the opening of the fall sports season.
On Monday, we blacked out the school and wore all black, like in the picture on the bottom left corner. On Tuesday, we were tourists for the day. Wednesday was class colors, and each class wore different colors representing their year. Thursday, we represented our favorite sports team, and on Friday, we bled red.
One of our most enjoyed spirited events is the Legacy March. It's not only a great way to kick off the fall sports, but it's also a great way to show the school spirit on campus. We begin in the Lincoln Building, walking over to the Washington Building, and we end it with the STEM Building, with band and color guard leading the way, and cheer, dance, ASB, and the rest of fall sports screaming and chanting. What better way to say that we can't hide our patriot pride?
We had our annual Legacy Ceremony. Parents and community members came out to support our football team in a ceremony where student athletes get their decals on their helmets. It was a nice event filled with community support.
The Club Rush, which is usually held a couple weeks after the first day of school, helps introduce the clubs on campus that Heritage has to offer. It's great seeing all the involvement and really helps to bring new kids out of their comfort zones as they look for their new families to be a part of Heritage High School.
Our AVID teachers held their AVID Parent Information Night. Lots of important college going on and AVID activities information was shared with parents. We had a great turnout and parents were split by grade level with our awesome AVID teachers and counselors.
Back to school night was a success. We had hundreds of community members show up. The positive ambience with cheer, band, link crew volunteers, and other groups on campus helped build a great relationship with our community. Parents got the chance to hear from teachers. We had a nice schedule to follow, and we received good feedback from students, staff, and parents.
We had a full house at our seniors' Parent Information Night. Our parents were given lots of important information about senior activities, events, requirements, and graduation. Class of 2017 is ready for all the fun of being a senior.
Today, we held our first blood drive of the school year. As said from student volunteers, the blood drive is a simple way to give back to the community, to help those in need and those who have disabilities, diseases, or cancer, and give blood to them. Also a great turnout every year and every time we do it.
Our fall sports are well on the way. We are very excited about competing in the many sports this season. Cabinet members and board members, we'd like to invite you to check out some of our fall sports games. We have football, boys water polo, girls volleyball, girls tennis, girls golf, and cross country. Come check out the Patriot student athletes and come join us in our Patriot Pit.
Our Staff of the Month were celebrated at the staff meeting. Miss Jerry Bowman is our Teacher of the Month. She goes above and beyond and even welcomes our parents in the morning, making our morning traffic a delightful experience. Miss Acinda Sarian is our registrar and is filling in as SAS Tech. She works hard and with registration and enrollment, and we are proud to have such an excellent staff at HHS.
Our Student of the Month was Andrea Kadang. Her family, along with her teacher, Miss Huerta, got a chance to celebrate and have a nice Sizzlers breakfast. Andrea is an awesome student that gets good grades in some very hard classes. She really represents hard work and dedication at Heritage High School.
And we would like to invite you all to our upcoming events, which would be the National Honor Society induction ceremony, where they're accepting 45 new students. And Link Crew's having their movie night October 6th, and on Monday they're voting, so hopefully you guys will be updated on what movie they watch. Senior auctions will be held October 7th, and if you guys don't know what that is, it's actually quite a fun week. We get to auction off seniors who volunteer to be auctioned off, and the money goes to the senior class. And basically, whoever buys them, they get to get that person who buys them. They dress them up the whole week of Spirit Week for homecoming, and it's the silliest thing ever. It's fun just seeing them be dressed up, and it's crazy. Speaking of Spirit Week, it will be held October 10th through the 14th, following the homecoming game, dance, and rally, which is October 14th, and the dance will be held October 15th. Thank you, and thanks.
Thank you, ladies. Trustee Cooley.
From Paloma Valley High School. Thank you. From Paloma Valley High School, Kayla Madrid.
Good afternoon, President Nellison, Board, Superintendent Bennett, and Cabinet. I'm Kayla Madrid, representing from Paloma Valley High School. Okay, there we go. The first day of school started with our rally in the stadium. It was a great way to kick off this year. Okay. So this has been a big topic at Paloma. Paloma has added new fencing. I'm really short. Okay. In front of the administration building. We are endeavoring to keep the students, staff, and visitors safe. In the past, we have had multiple occurrences of people wandering campus without permission. Now everyone will be directed to the front receptionist to sign in. The front gate will also be closed during the 6-minute passing periods, but students will still be able to go through the gates so that they can get to their classes on time. We are proud to announce that our new choice of dining is Terabytes Cafe. Menus will feature healthy, freshly prepared meals with a larger variety than last year. I would like to introduce our new assistant principals, Dr. Kyle Garrity on the left and Lee Alfred on the right. They joined the admin staff this past month. Both are experienced educators who will bring great strengths to Paloma. We will miss Roberto Carrillo and Celeste Migliaccio. Sorry, I always have a problem with this one. Migliaccio, who both moved up to principal positions. For the second year in a row, Paloma has been named a silver medal school by the U.S. News Best High Schools in America. This puts us in the top 11% of all 26,000 high schools in the nation. Our Paloma pride is flying high this year. This is my favorite thing. Okay. Mr. Heine's engineering students finally got to play Battleship with their finished fleets. They drew out a game board grid on the concrete and measured the velocity and trajectory of the ping pong balls that they launched at each other's ships. So cool. So NJROTC is just amazing. They were busy this past summer. They had many trainings, including Sail Academy, a 3-day event that took place in Fiddler's Cove in Coronado, California. We had 4 cadets who participated and earned their sailing license. The focus was on learning to sail, working as a team, and leadership. This Friday is Paloma's 2nd annual Military Appreciation Night. This week, the students are participating in our Spirit Days. Today was College Wear Day, and tomorrow is Patriotic Day, where every student is encouraged to wear our nation's colors. We would like to invite you guys, because this is just an amazing sight. You just feel the patriotism in the stadium. It's just amazing. Don't miss the Big Flag presentation, as we are only the 2nd high school in the nation to be granted this honor. And that's all for my presentation, but I would like to say one more thing. As a student of Ryan Lundstrom, I would just like to add that he is the most amazing teacher ever. Not only does he teach us calculus, but he teaches us so much more about life, and he's always helping us with the jobs. We always talk about jobs and careers to see what he always wants to talk to us about where we want to go in life, and it's just really cool. He's just really taught us a lot. So I'd like to end with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Trustee Agundes.
From Paris High School, student reps Melissa Vasquez and Alexandra Vela.
Well, isn't this new? So, good evening, President Nelson and board members, Superintendent, Mr. Bennett, and Cabinet. I am Melissa Vasquez, your ASB School Board Representative, along with Alex Vela, also your ASB School Board Rep. School kicked off Wednesday, August 10th. ASB was out early in full force, helping students find their way to their first period with maps. We also pointed out their room locations, and we even helped lost freshmen to their class. On the 18th and 19th of August, we held our ID Picture Day. It was quite different than others because us seniors got to take our senior picture in our graduation gowns. So it kind of just gave us a feel about next June.
All right, this is one of my favorite things, Drama Club. So before I start this, I hate to toot my own horn, but I am president of Drama Club, so toot, yay. But 3 weeks ago, we had auditions for our fall/winter play, which is actually Dracula, so that should be super duper fun. So I'm going to invite you all in advance. It's 3 months in advance, but that's okay. So it's going to be on December 2nd and 3rd, and it should be a very fun, mysterious show.
Okay, so our school opened up the campus to students and their families for back-to-school night. They got a view of the nearly completed phase of 2A, otherwise known as the future home of ASB. The night was filled with many activities that included Congressman Takano hosting a town hall-style meeting with guest speakers who were the first to attend college in their class and their family, followed by a jamboree with performances by cheer and band, not to mention all the clubs that were serving food. Then came a PTSA meeting, and finally classroom visits. Senior year. So to kick off our senior year, Paris High held a senior assembly on September 9th to discuss senior contracts, graduation, and we even had Cherished Memories and Jostens come out to show us all the cool things we can do and buy to make this year the most memorable we can. Our grad fair. This is when we had our senior gear, Jostens, Cherished Memories, and Firetex and Metrolink. They all had vendor stations, and we encouraged all the seniors to attend and check out all that was offered.
Last Thursday, we had our club rush, so we had clubs like Bible Club, Fashion, Drama, Yoga Club, along with 24 other clubs come out during both first and second lunch to recruit new members. Tables were decorated and manned by those student reps, and our advisors came out during lunch to hang out with us and just meet some new potential recruiters. Now, all things homecoming. So, homecoming was last week, and our theme was Coachella, so for all of our baby boomers and not millennials, Coachella's kind of like a modern-day Woodstock thing. Super duper fun. So our Spirit Week, it included our Sports Day, Twin Tuesday. We had Save the World Wednesday, but if you're like me, you kind of like, superheroes? No. So if you were like me, you did something like a supervillain, like I dressed up like Poison Ivy. Then we had Rock Out Thursday and Hippie Hooray Friday. That Friday was actually our pep rally, and Burger King donated crowns for us to be kings and queens for a day. We got to decorate these crowns, which was super duper fun. Side note, I think I should get, Best Crown Award because mine was just a collage of Kim Kardashian crying. It was beautiful. Anyways, the next day we had our homecoming dance, which was a huge success. Congratulations to our homecoming king and queen, Andrew Hernandez and Lisette Avila. Going back to the day before, the Panther football team defeated San Bernardino, making our record winning 4 and losing none, and as of today, Paris is ranked number 1 in the CIF Southern Division Section 9. This week we do play Banning High School, and we look to go to that 5 and none, so fingers crossed we do. Last Friday as well, our Paris alumni, Calvin Sweeney, was honored in a pregame homecoming ceremony. Mr. Sweeney, who's actually the uncle of our very own Richard Sweeney, was an All-American at USC and played in the NFL for the Steelers, where he won a Super Bowl ring. His Paris High jersey, number 84, was retired that night to honor all of his great accomplishments. Freshman Foundation Assembly happened recently, where PBIS hosted a multimedia, three-screen production, blending music, video, and positive messages on making good choices in an effort to get our freshmen off to a really good start this year. Lastly, I'd like to honor our Student and Teacher of the Month, which is Andrew Sims as our student, and our teacher, Mrs. Post. Thank you all so much, and have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Trustee Twyman.
From Pinnacotti Middle, Sierra Mingo Gaines and Angelus Robles.
Good evening, Ms. President Nelson, Mr. Bennett, and cabinet members. I'm Sierra Mingo Gaines, the ASB president, and here with me tonight is...
Angelus Robles, vice president of ASB. I'd also like to give a big welcome to our new superintendent, Mr. Bennett.
We recently had back to school night. We had a lot of families show up and enjoy the evening. Classrooms were open for touring. We were happy to see all the district officials that came. We had parents as well as students talking to teachers and asking questions. All in all, back to school night was a success based on the parent, student, and staff feedback.
These are our sports and activities. In sports, we recently had our first home football game at Paris High. Sadly, we lost. We also had a flag football game at Pinacati. The girls' volleyball teams also played last week at Pinacati. Team A won.
ASB and Athletics recently held our first pep rallies of this year. In August, we held our fall ASB elections, club rush, and lunch activities for both 7th and 8th grade lunches. We had more club participation than ever this school year.
These are just some of our clubs from 2016 to 2017. There's also some new ones as well.
Our new ones consist of Club Grow and Makerspace Club.
These are some of our upcoming competitions, including robotics, future innovators, and the science fair. Some of the clubs are even getting prepared to go against each other. These are our upcoming events. We have upcoming events such as Red Ribbon Week, College Fair, Harvest Dance, and the Digital Citizenship Week.
September 21st, girls volleyball and flag football home games. September 22nd, Pumas versus Carnegie. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, ladies. Trustee Arouse.
From Perris Lake High School, Alexis Coronado, Geneva Guzman, Janet Garcia, Sara Mejia, Anthony Estrada, and Colleen Scully.
Good evening, board. Good evening, Governing Board and Superintendent Bennett and guest. My name is Alexis Coronado, and I'm a member of ASB at Perris Lake High School. And also representing Perris Lake is Anthony Estrada.
We started the year off with two excellent motivational speakers. For the first 2 weeks of school, Master Sergeant Frank Puebla from NJROTC at Paloma Valley High School and Deputy District Attorney Allison Gray from Riverside. They reminded us that it's our responsibility to 1, get to school, and 2, to graduate.
For back to school night, we gave out free hot dogs and to all of our guests. Approximately about 73 families attended. That night, live entertainment was provided by previous grades. Angel Castillo and Brandon Botello. 5 lucky families were won extra graduation ceremony tickets for attending.
131 students will be recognized on October 6th at our SOAR Awards compared to the 90 students last year. This will take place in 4th period, and parents will be invited to attend.
Senior portraits and cap and gowns photos were being offered on campus. 4 studio sets were put up and run by ASB. A second session will be held on the 30th.
Sign-ups for blood drive begin this week on Friday, the 14th on October from 8:30 to 1:30.
Not Scared Farm, upon approval, will be taking a trip up to Not Scary Farm on Thursday, October 13th. 50 students will be going who meet the requirements such as good attendance, excellent grades, and no behavior issues.
The International Day of Nonviolence is observed on October 2nd. Ms. Johnson, our criminology class, will be participating in making October 2nd a nonviolence day for the school, and she will be teaching about nonviolence awareness.
We want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to share with each month what's going on and what's going to happen.
at the lake. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is usually the time where I tell the student representatives, if you guys want to go, you do not have to stay. We're not going to force you. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. All right, now that they're gone. PSCA President Vicki Mueller does not look like she's here. Oh, there she is from behind Hector, sorry. He's just too tall. He covers you up.
Get my paper. Good evening, President Nelson, Mr. Bennett, and Governing Board and Cabinet. Thank you again for allowing us this time to speak. I would first off like to welcome and congratulate Mr. Bennett to in your position as superintendent. The school year has started off again. We've got through the honeymoon period, and so we're all starting to see, how our students really are. Some of them are wonderful, some of them not so wonderful. Again, though, it seems that we are still running into some problems with some teachers not having materials yet for their classes. I understand that they have been ordered, and I know it's a process, but they are starting to get kind of nervous about it. There's also still an issue out there of special ed caseloads. Again, we've been in conversations with the district, and I understand that they are seeking 2 teachers. Regarding the new fencing at Paloma, everyone loves it. They like that it was put in, the increased security. They are hoping that the same type of security passes on over now to Heritage. And again, we've been in conversations with the district about those concerns at Heritage High School on security. PSCA has been working hard also in building our leadership, and I'm happy to say that over the last weekend of this month, we'll be taking 16 members to Palm Springs for a conference. And I just wanted to share, because I think sometimes when we talk about union stuff, people are under the impression that it's always just building the union, unionism, blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to share some of the titles so that you kind of get an idea of what we do. Academic Conversations is one of them. ESSA, LCAP, NGSS, Technology in the Classroom. Removing Barriers to Education. Stopping the School to Prison Pipeline. Ethnic Studies, Teachers and the Law. And so these are the courses that our teachers, the 16 members that we have right now going, have signed up for. And so when we elicit these members, this is what we're encouraging them and we're building them to do. So it's not just, some of them are, the history of unionism, but it's not just that. And so I just wanted to share that. We are looking forward to continuing the relationship that we've built over the last few years through the PRC process, and we have PRC tomorrow. So thank you again for this time, and thank you for helping us work to solve problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. CSCA Vice President Alvin Hill.
Good evening, President Ellison and the board, Superintendent Grant Bennett, ex-principal of Heritage High, so proud of you, and the cabinet. President Claudia Davis is phone banking today for Prop 55, very important to schools. We got to make sure that we get that passed. We're throwing our support behind it, just like we did Prop 30, and we're going to get it passed. CSEA has been in negotiations with the district since we last met, August 23rd and September 13th. Some of the topics were nutrition service, terabytes, Candace's baby, district-wide comp study, state. We got the state budget, quick look. We've been talking about catastrophic leave, evaluation, district rights, and all the little contract language that we really need to work on and clean up so that it's a little bit cleaner than it currently is in our contract. CSEA had job rep training this past Saturday at RCOE. We had one employee go. That definitely wasn't our intent. We need to get more people there. I hear we have at least one more interested in the next training. They haven't set it up yet, but at the training at RCOE, it was full. We had people that wanted to go. They couldn't get in. Our newsletter. We have a newsletter that I'm going to hand out to you because it has some important information. At our next month's meeting, which is October 12th, it's probably one of the biggest meetings that we've had as far as who's going to be there. Ben Valdepina, the CSEA state president, is going to be there. Our Area F director, Dale Sorensen, Regional Rep Priscilla Burton, Field Director Denise Jensen from Rancho Cucamonga, Assembly Member Jose Medina, Brady McCarran, who's going for Paris City Council, and we think the most important member that's going to be there is Grant Bennett, new superintendent of PUHSD. So we would like to invite the entire cabinet and the board to come to this meeting. It will be here in your boardroom, so no excuses for not saying you don't know where it is. And we hope that you all show up. So open invitation. I'm hoping we're feeding you. I won't be here that week. I'll be in Oklahoma. My son's going to be graduating boot camp, Army. So, but you're invited anyway. Yeah, if you want to go, we're careful. And I think that's about it. I haven't got to address the board since I was president probably about 10 years ago, so it was kind of neat to do it again. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Invitation to address the Board of Trustees on agendized and non-agendized items? Nothing. Okay. Consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay, please vote. Thank you. Introduction of promoted and/or new employees if necessary.
Not necessary this evening, President Ellison.
Thank you. Morale Committee update. Ms. Davis.
Good evening, Governing Board and fellow cabinet members. I'm going to bow out and I'm going to let a couple of our Employee Morale Committee members speak. I would like to introduce Mr. Juno Fernandez, who's an HR technician in Human Resources, and Mr. Jonathan Holzman, who's a teacher for us at Paris Lake High School, and they will give the report out tonight.
Good evening, President Nelson, Superintendent Grant Bennett, and Cabinet and Board. We are here to give our update with employee morale.
Good evening. First, want to begin by talking about one of my favorite events for the year is our casino night, PUHSD. And last year it was held on March 11, 2016. Over 100 people have attended. As you can see, some of the pictures on there are our new and our existing superintendent, and some very fun photo booth pictures, including everybody, and also prizes that were earned based on raffle. And it was just a very, very fun night, and I know we all look forward to the one for this coming year.
The next thing we did was we had a PUHSD night at the Storm Stadium game, May 12th. It was well attended. We had friends and family members of our employees attend that, and as you could see, Dr. Jonathan Greenberg and Superintendent Bennett were out there, and they threw out the first pitch. So it was fun for all. And then I'm just going to give a few highlights on the different things the sites did with the money we provided to them, just to encourage employee morale. First up is Panacati Middle School. They gave recognition each month to a classified and certificated member of their staff. They provided them each with $25 gift cards to Starbucks, IHOP, Panera, Panda Express, and they also provided pastries for the celebration of that.
And at Paris Lake High School, we enjoy a monthly gift card as well as a parking spot for both classified and certificated staff. We also enjoy breakfast or lunch barbecues at occasions throughout the year, kind of give a nice little meal, give you a nice something to feel full about. And then at Heritage High School, they had site jerseys ordered for all staff. They had a holiday get-together, and they did cupcakes and picture day for staff. And they did an event called Frank's Giving, a Thanksgiving carne asada treat.
So Paris High School's answer to that was they had a Nickmas or St. Nick's event where they celebrated and served their classified and certificate employees for Appreciation Days in May.
And then for the events for this year, we're going to be sending out a survey at the beginning of October to inquire what the staff would like to see from the committee throughout the year. And we also plan to have a turkey ham raffle at each site in November. And we also look to spend a little bit of money on refreshing our staff lounges, make them a little more comfortable and social place for staff members to socialize. And lastly, we have our casino night this coming year. We're planning in December, so it'll be a nice, cool time of year. We're also looking to increase the PUMA, which is our Paris Union Management Association's golf tournament. We're looking to also expand on that and also continue to enjoy Storm Stadium again this year.
And we just wanted to highlight some few goals that we had as a committee. We wanted more site-specific events, and this year we're having the sites give us kind of a proposal of what they're going to do, and then have the committee just give them a little bit of input, suggest things, and just give them our take on, site-specific events that they can do, and give them a little help. And we also wanted to recognize employees that did, who received perfect attendance, have a luncheon with them. It's not easy coming in every single day to a job, but, these people have managed to do that. And we want to celebrate them, and they love it. They love the district and what we've done as a committee, increasing the morale. So we would like to recognize those individuals.
Thank you.
Else you want to add?
I just want to add that I really appreciate all the committee members. Miss Vicki Mueller's also on the committee. There's several people that were in the audience. But we're always looking for ideas and ways to increase morale. And I think people have done a really good job, and I appreciate that. But we're always open to ideas. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I have some.
I love it, Ed.
Yeah. I just wanted to put, because before I forget it, okay. Questions I have, it's great, the site-specific events and and it was wonderful you came up with the idea of perfect attendance. Anything that you can do at the sites, as well as district-wide events, are wonderful. You know, I was telling some of the board members that morale is like taking a bath or a shower. If you don't stay or keep going, right? And it's like after a while you start to stink, and you better take another bath. You just don't take one. It's an ongoing kind of thing, and so you got to stay after it, and you got to continue to tweak it. Some things work, and some things don't. And so to that point, and I'm real happy that you're starting to do this. In my 21 years as superintendent, I did a lot of this stuff, and I mean that was foremost, because employee morale really is an underpinning of everything that goes on. People come to work, they come to work with a smile. I remember a group of my teachers went to a conference, a county-wide conference, and they were all. I didn't decide that. They wanted to wear T-shirts, that had our logo on it, and so I supported that as best I could. And so they show up, and the other districts are looking at us. Eventually, they started doing the same thing. But one of the teachers went to talk to one of our staff members and said, "You know what? They're going to feed us breakfast. Our district, our school site, they're going to feed us breakfast. Isn't that great?" "Yeah, it's great." And they said, "We've been doing that for years." This is what my staff responded. And, it really makes a difference, because I've had staff members then come around and say things and they support you, they said, "We don't want to do anything that would hurt you or harm you in any way, shape, or form." Well, for a superintendent to hear that from your staff, from your teacher leaders, it's wonderful, and it's because of these kinds of things that you're showing that you're doing. So my first question is, casino night. I know you did it 1 year, and you got you said attendance was 100. So what was the previous year? And so I don't know what the previous year. Are we growing in that? And not only that, how many of these were employees? So I know you had 2. So is there a difference? Did you go up? So, and what's the expectation for the following year? You want to keep increasing. Now, if it's not working, then maybe you need to tweak it one way or different dates. Or I don't know what it is that you need to do, but you need to find a solution to that, because you want, and this is, it's a family night. I understand that, but I'm concerned. We have, how many employees do we have here, Tanya? How many employees do we have?
About 1,100, including our substitutes.
Yeah. So, okay, give or take, let's say 1,000, and so how many? So 100 were able to attend. Now, how many of those were actual employees? So it was 50 employees and 50 family members. So, so is that successful? Is that a measure of success? And I know you only tried it one time, and then the second time, if you didn't get that bump, then you need to be looking for other things so you can reach, and then you're going to do it a third time. So what are you doing differently so that you can get a bulk of individuals? In my district, prior district, we had 500 full-time employees, and if you add the other employees, maybe another 100 part-time, and we would have 450. Around 400 to 450 to a Christmas social that we would do. So that's getting closer to what I'm talking about, because these are employees, and so there were other events where we had families, but that's what I think is important. Then one other thing on the baseball night. So you got to get your bang for your buck. Is what I'm talking about. Baseball night. You had 100 that attended, and that was the first one. Okay, how many of those were our employees versus their family members? So 25 employees, 75 children and husbands and or wives and that sort of thing. So are we addressing, so those 25 or those 50, whatever it was, we don't, you may know, but we don't know. Or I don't know the rest of the board. Yeah, we don't. So how many of those, is that okay? Is that 50, is that okay? Is that a number if we have 1,000 full-time employees? Is my question for the committee.
Okay, well, I can take that back and we can pull that data and take a look at it. And
so just off the top of your head, if you have 100 employees, how many of those
there's I couldn't tell you without looking at.
Just off the top of just give me a guess.
Oh my gosh, Ed, really?
90?
I don't know. I would have to go back and I don't know.
Out of 100 employees, would you say 100 of those were all our employees? We know that's not.
No, I know that that's not the case.
See, so my point is, let's look for where we're really getting our employees. Because if it's not working, I don't have a problem with things not working. But if it's not working, what's the definition of insanity? Yeah. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over. So you got to find another way, because the goal is to get our employees there. And if they're not coming, then find out what it is that makes them tick so they can come. What is it going to take? What carrot or whatever? And I think that employees will come to something that they put together. Like that Christmas social, it wasn't my idea. It wasn't the committee's idea. It was the employees feeding the committee, and that survey that you're going to do is going to be great. Because I said, I'll do anything. And I go beat the bushes and get our insurance companies and our consultants to fork up the dollars, because we, to make something very amenable or very, very attractive to get our employees to show up. That's my take. I don't know about the rest of the board.
Okay, we appreciate that. And the committee has heard what you've said, and we'll take it back and we'll discuss it, and we'll try to include all of that as we plan this year's events. We appreciate it.
Yeah, whatever works. That's all I'm saying.
I do just want to add that Grant and I have spoken, and he wants to incorporate some ways to recognize our employees who become permanent, both classified and certificated. So we're discussing ways to do that in the next few weeks.
Yeah, when he told me that, and that's the other thing that I was going to bring up, and I forgot, being at my age. So at my age, I forget a lot of. Yeah, and so, we haven't recognized people attaining tenure, and that's a big thing for our staff. And so I'm glad when he told me that, I started to get chills. I mean, because I can already see how our staff is going to respond, our teaching staff that get tenure, or, the certificated that get permanence. And we need to find ways to recognize that. But,
And our classified. We want to make sure that we recognize both of those.
Yeah. And they get excited. I mean, I know. I've lived it. And so it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. It would seem like timing is also a big thing. Like, if they have to go home, they might live far away. And not want to come back to the event or something. So it kind of coincides with what was said.
Yeah, we did recognize last year one of the significant contributors to a lower turnout for casino night was we had a monsoon that night. It rained the night of our casino night, and we still had 100 people show up, which was lower than the year before, but there's so many variables that could contribute to that. We had a lot more RSVP, but they just didn't make it. But I appreciate that insight, Carolyn. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay. Information report on summer school program.
Closed session. Next month we can talk about that. Well, you can talk about that earlier, but I think it ought to be brought up in closed session.
President Nelson, members of the board, Mr. Bennett, our new superintendent, and our cabinet, and also guests.
It's obvious from what we're hearing and what we're seeing that great things are happening here in Paris, and student achievement doesn't happen by itself. So what I'd like to do is just introduce right now our Coordinator of Assessment and Accountability, Mr. Charles Tippy, and our Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Julie Zyro, to give us some information about we're going to do three of them, all three of them right now. What I'm going to ask them is to give a report on the student achievement data, the data on the summer school program that we had this past summer, and then finally on the data on our August professional development days. I'll turn it over to them.
All right. Good evening, President Nelson and the board members, Superintendent Mr. Bennett, and cabinet members. I have this opportunity to share some of our student success for the 2016 school year. So the first thing we're going to look at is our district graduation rate in comparison to last year. So one thing I just want to note is that this is a projection based on just the number of graduates for that particular year. It does not include the cohort data. So that number at 93.8% will probably drop slightly to reflect that it's not cohort data, that it's just for that 2016 graduating class. If you notice that last year we were at 87%, which was just barely below the county average. So we're hoping this year that we're going to pass the county average up with our graduation rate. Our district A to G completion, these are also preliminary numbers based on the data that's been accounted for our A to G completers from last school year. Currently, we're looking at about 38.8% A to G completion, which, if you'll notice, that's about a 5% increase from 2015 to 2016, which puts us right about where the county average is for last year. As you know, that this is usually a year behind, so we won't actually have our final numbers until towards the end of this school year. We'll have our final numbers for 2016. But we're pretty proud of the number in our A to G completion rate, going from 2011 when we only had 24.1% to now having 38.8% A to G completion. And the number continues to go up for us. In looking at college and career readiness, we've had a lot of focus on our programs of rigor. So AP, dual enrollment, and CTE enrollment. So looking at our AP enrollment numbers, we have shown a 32.6% increase in our enrollment. So one of the things that we really pride ourselves in is that equity issue. We definitely have more students that are participating in our AP courses. And one of the things that we're really focused on this year is the AP readiness and making sure that we're providing equitable supports for those students to be successful in the AP classes. Our dual enrollment, you'll see we've gone up 150% from 2014-15 till now. So one of the things that we focused on is getting more teachers that are able to teach dual enrollment classes. But 150%, that's a huge increase in just a short amount of time of 3 years. So we have a lot more course offerings at each of our campuses. And then when you look at our increase in CTE enrollment, that is just a tribute to the support that we've had from the district in providing new programs to our school sites, engineering, biomedical, the computer applications, pathway as well. So it's exciting to see those numbers, 60.3% increase in our CTE enrollment. And then looking at our AP numbers tested and the success in AP, we've shown a growth in our AP number of students tested by 17.5%. So we're excited to see more kids testing, but we saw just a slight drop in the number of students that had a 3 or higher. But that comes back to the real focus on getting our students better prepared. So we are participating in the RCOE and UCR AP readiness program. So we'll have students from all 4 of our campuses traveling on Saturdays. There's 8 Saturdays this school year to help prepare the students for the AP exam. And we also have the opportunity to send teachers as well to those Saturdays to also get help with instruction for the success of the students. And those teachers that are teaching at the AP readiness for UCR are like Mr. Williams said and Mr. Bennett had mentioned, that Ryan Lundstrom has a high success rate. All of the teachers that are helping facilitate that AP readiness program are all teachers that have high success rates in their specific content area. So we're hoping to see some growth in those AP scores. FAFSA completion has been a huge focus of ours this year. As part of the RCEC, which is the Riverside County Education Collaborative, we have had lots of support as a collaborative in focusing on our FAFSA completion. You'll see that in 2016, as a district, we're at 72.8%. We had one high school, Heritage High School, came in first place in the county for large schools at 89%, just barely under the 90% mark. So they're pretty excited about that. And again, this year, they have some high goals for themselves. I have no doubt that they will get over 90% this year. But if you compare us to the other schools within the RCEC, you'll see that Paris is leading the charge with FAFSA completion within the collaborative. So there's 5 other school districts. Moreno Valley, Murrieta Valley, Val Verde, and Temecula Valley are part of the collaborative.
And then another big part of this is the California Assessment of Student Progress and Performance umbrella. These are the assessments that measure the new, and they're not so new anymore, but the California Common Core standards that assess students in English language arts and math in grades 3 through 8 and grade 11. One thing that's important to note on this, totally different, brand new standards, new way of assessments. We know that these assessments are nowhere near what the old kind of assessments that were testing knowledge. So we're in the second year of the results, and we got results a lot earlier this year. We were able to get scores out to teachers in June, which was nice. One of the things that I struggled with this is you look at the scores, they come out, and you kind of feel like you get punched in the stomach because when you're seeing, and this is districts around the state, half of the kids aren't in the standard MET area for college and career readiness. So I look through the data, and then I go back and forth to Diane's office and steal Snickers and M&Ms, and still trying to figure this out. So, what do we do to figure out how we're doing? We want to keep getting better. So one of the things that I did was I looked at data for demographics throughout the county. It's hard to compare a high school district to elementary districts, a lot of different reasons why. Long story short, in the old system that we had an academic performance index, the state found that there were two of the major demographic challenges that schools and districts face were the percentage of English learners and the percentages of students in poverty or that qualify for free and reduced lunch. So what I did was looked at all the districts in the county, took the data off of the CDE website, and found that, it's hard to see up there, but there's in Riverside County districts and schools with only looking at students in grades 6 through 11, there's 4 districts that have a higher percentage of EL students than us, and there are 9 districts in the county that have a higher number of free and reduced lunch. So, and this personally, it bothers a lot of us that just because our kids are challenged demographically, that the expectations are the scores are going to be less, but that's what we've seen across the state. So we kind of think that our district would fall in round 11 or 12 based on where we are demographically, and that's pretty much right where we were at. We had about 47% or exactly 47% of our students in levels 3 and 4 on the Smarter Balance assessments in ELA, meaning that they were ready conditionally or college ready in ELA. Math was very similar. So the math numbers, 21%, and our ranking was similar. So we were about number 11 on that out of the 24 districts in the county. So what we did want to focus on more so is what are we doing to address the scores aren't where we want them to be. So what are we doing to address that? Under Mr. Bennett's leadership, we really revitalized the trainings that we're doing for professional learning communities. I remember 14 years ago, my first year at Paloma Valley in a staff meeting, and they sent a veteran, he'd been principal for years at that time, principal down to Paloma to talk about what PLCs are. And it turned out he's in the room tonight. We had paybacks, Mr. Bennett. So we had all of the teacher leadership department chairs from all of the schools out to Pinacate Middle School in August, and they went through an intensive PLC training. What is the purpose of the PLC? We're looking at student achievement data. How is that time spent? We've done a lot of work with curriculum adoptions. We're currently piloting, I'm going to name them off here, my memory's going to. We're piloting Read 180, Study Sync for core ELA at the middle school level, Collections, core ELA at the middle school level, Pearson Math, Edge for the high school ELD, English 3D for designated ELD, and then all levels of Spanish. So Common Core was adopted in 2010. The state finally released state board adopted materials last year, and we're making some major advances in that area. With that comes a lot of teacher support. So our teachers on assignment, our technology TOSAs, and the TOSAs and Ed Services are working with teachers. They've been, I think, almost weekly meeting with teacher groups, helping them and supporting with the curriculum. So those are some of the major things that we're doing to just keep getting better and better in this area. And then I'm going to let Ms. Zero talk about the great things that we're doing with AVID.
So we've been really lucky to be able to provide a lot of resources towards our AVID programs, and we've seen the growth within our AVID programs increase dramatically. We see in 2014 we had 959 students district-wide in AVID, and 2016-17 we had 1,880 students within our AVID programs, which is a 96% increase in our AVID enrollment. And you'll see the value in students being in AVID as seniors. We had 221 AVID seniors last year. 219 of them graduated. 99.1% of them completed completed graduation, and then AVID A to G completion was 93.7%. And AVID's mission is really to address the achievement gap, so it focuses on students that fall kind of in the middle. They're not your super high achieving kids, and you're not your low achieving kids necessarily. They're the students that might be first generation college going students. They might need a little extra support to be successful. They're encouraged to take at least one AP course during their time within high school. We have a lot of teachers that really push an AP course each year while they're in AVID. And you see that the benefit of that is really showing with the graduation rate for AVID as well as the A to G completion. So we continue to support our schools in the process of really building their AVID programs. Heritage High School is an AVID demonstration school. Paris High is getting ready to start that process as an AVID demonstration school. So they're in the first year of the process. It usually takes about 3 years to reach that status. But it really shows the focus that we have on the college and career readiness for our students. And then we have summer school. So this summer we kind of piloted something a little bit different because we have some new programs that we're working within. We're still using the A+ system as well as Plato, which is the new implementation of Edmentum. Our focus was really to make sure that we were aligning the rigor of our courses within remediation as well as acceleration to match that was taking place within the classroom. So this year in A+, we had 226 courses completed. So that might be students completing more than one class. They took the courses in A+, if they were students that might be non-grads from this particular school year, as well as students that were not on track for A to G completion, so students that might be a little bit behind in their credits, mostly juniors and seniors. And in the Plato courses, we had 247 courses completed, and this was for students that were doing course remediation, and then all students that were on track for A to G completion would also be taking the courses within Plato, and then some acceleration courses were done within math and Spanish. Paris High School had the opportunity to have the Summer Up program at their school. This is through the the Early Outreach Academic Program. This targets math, and this is for acceleration or remediation. And this is also a program through UCR that targets first-generation students. Paris High is lucky to have that partnership with UCR. Then the total number of students that completed courses on campus, we had 225 students that completed summer school classes on campus daily within a lab setting using the online programs. And then we also had 169 students that completed all of their coursework outside of campus on their own, and then they took all the assessments for each of the content areas on campus in specific content area locations. They could have completed more than one course. So when it says 226 courses were completed, it could be one student completed multiple courses. And for us, it was kind of an eye-opener. Now we have such great technology and we have great online programs that really looking at how our summer school is set up. There's definitely a need for some support for students that might struggle a little bit. So maybe the hybrid between online at home and some on-campus support. So we're looking at kind of what that might look like next year in summer, because we saw some great things happening. We saw some students really getting through some classes and having that support. But we also saw some of those kids that are very motivated to complete courses did very well online on their own. So trying to meet the needs of all of our students. So not necessarily making it a cookie cutter for every student within summer school. So we have lots of options as far as what summer school might look like for next year.
Okay, can I just say something? Can I say, wow, wow, wow? It's great information, you know, the way they went up and just, yeah, you guys did a great job. Well, the administration did a great job and the leaders. Thank you.
Yeah. I would like to make another comment. First of all, congratulations to the team, because this is a teamwork, right? The district, the teachers, the parents, and all of you working together. And definitely we are seeing that huge increase, and that is the direction that we are going to go. And just one question to clarify. The graduation rate is the percent of seniors at the time of the graduation, right? Not from ninth grade. No.
Does not include the
It does not include that. Yeah. Okay. And
that's really hard
to track.
To project and be accurate.
Yeah.
So we don't want to mislead anybody.
Yeah. Just wanted to confirm that. Thank you. Just one question. Do you think it would be possible to get this data, but desegregated? Sure. Because I would like to see how ELs are doing, special ed, right? RFEPs, how they are performing, and if there is some room to help them and determine on develop some programs or strategies to help them, as well as by schools. So we can see, I know Heritage High School, the data, and actually we have been trying to do some of the things that are happening there. Is excellent. But I would like to see how is Paris High School doing, how is Paloma High School doing, and the desegregation, the subgroups there, in order to see what we can do to help them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm curious how many kids actually have to take the test in another district compared with this district. Like, we don't require them to take the test.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Can you repeat your question? How we compare to other districts?
Yeah.
Oh, we can definitely do some research. I don't know that off the top of my head, but we can definitely bring that number back.
Okay.
Especially like districts.
Definitely.
And so we're going to address our August professional development. Now we have these LCAP goals are some pretty lofty expectations on schools and districts. So one of the thing, I think this was the third time that we've had this event. So we're going to just kind of go over some of the highlights and specifically how some of the different training sessions meet the LCAP goals. So on August 4th and 5th, we had all of the districts and all district employees in the district, over almost 900 staff members present. We had 29 guest presenters, so we had people from RCO SELPA, from the RCOE Instructional Division, come out, work with our teachers. We also had 41 of our district employees, administrators, teachers, classified staff. That's our friend Russell, who's our IT technician. So he led a couple different sessions on social media, on working with our custodial staff on how to use Google, and they did an outstanding job on that. So overall, we had 156 different learning sessions. So each a participant had a minimum of 6 sessions that they went through over the 2 days, and then about 2,000 sandwiches. I will disaggregate that for you. So goal number 1, we want to see all students be successful in academic areas. These are some of the highlighted sessions that address that. We saw the SBAC data briefly, and we know that there's specific challenges with that. So we had all of our ELA and math teachers and several administrators attend one of the 2-hour sessions with Dr. Shannon Wells from Key Data Systems. And they went through and they looked at the different claim areas in mathematics. Where were our EL students struggling in ELA reading informational text? Really got down into the data at the school level. And then in our EDAMS assessment program, they looked at their own students during that session. We had RCOE come out and do a follow-up PLC session for every single teacher in the district. Counselors and administrators attended that. Content-specific curriculum, we had Spanish teachers go through Vista Higher Learning, English 3D was out, the core ELA programs were out working with the teachers on curriculum. The CELPA was great, so that's the organization that oversees the special education area, and they had several trainers come out, work with our teachers and our para-educators. We had our teacher on assignment, Norma Carrillo, work with teachers on strategies to help our English learners. And then we had several different sessions to help teachers use technology in the classroom. For goal number 2, looks at getting students ready for college and career readiness. Want to compliment Ms. Zerold on that. In previous years, we had counselors go into all different sessions and things weren't really applicable, but she worked with Catalina Cifuentes at RCOE, did 2 days of customized training to get counselors the training that they needed. Then we also had people from Story 2 come out, work with students on their college entry essays and CCGI as well. Goal number 3, this looks at providing safe and positive learning environments. Someone reached out to Riverside County Sheriff and asked if they'd be able to help out these 2 days. And all of this is primarily based on staff needs. So they go through and they select their classes, and then we schedule them accordingly. So someone reached out to RCOE, and they had sessions on gangs and drugs, human trafficking, active shooters, and those filled up. The sheriffs were teaching both days, all day long. I think they were the only ones that did that. So, and feedback we got from that was great. We had Mr. John Sennett work with teachers on positive classroom management, so including in the PBIS component to that. And then once again, the CELPA was out to help students with and teachers and staff with mental health. Goal number 4, we didn't have as many sessions on the 4th and 5th day, but these are the things that we've been working on. So once again, working with teachers and staff on social media, and then we're continuing on. Tomorrow's our 4th night of the Latino Family Literacy College Readiness workshop that you presented at last year. So we're finishing that up, and we have another one in November, and then some more of the programs. I think that's all we had. So thank you.
Don't go yet. Okay. Just to wrap it up just a little bit, if you'll notice, you had 3 presentations all rolled into one, and there's a reason for that. It all blends in together and interweaves. In order for us to really meet the needs of our students, we have to be able to disaggregate data. We have to look at individual sites, and that's our goal for this year, is to actually have our site administrators and their teacher leaders sit down, take a look at what exactly are their specific needs. Then we have to, from that, determine what some of our intervention pieces are going to be. We can't forget that it takes a village to raise a child, so we need to look at all of our staff members, and I mean all of them, not just our certificated staff members. What does that look like, and how do we bring everyone along so that they are the best resources for our students? So that's something really that we'd like for you to keep in mind, and it takes a lot of hard work on a lot of different people. So, are there any questions?
No, I had a comment that, we've come a long way, right? I've only been here 3.5 short years, or 3 3/4, but it looks, so I appreciate all the work that you've done. And it's eye openers, and that's what we need. And Jose keeps talking about disaggregating the data, and we'll be there, I think, and then figure out what we need to do. So thank you.
Yeah, and I want to thank Julie and Charles for this. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that includes that presentation, and that includes that presentation. Okay, information item on June suspension report. Information item on August suspension report. Action item, adoption of week of the school administrator. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Anything you guys wanted to add about this one?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's the 1 week in October, and we want to make sure we're recognizing our administrative staff for all the hard work they do. We do the other groups in the springtime when they're weeks.
After all, they're people too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? No? Please vote. Thank you. Adoption of resolution kindergarten through community college public education facilities bond act of 2016. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. This is about Prop 51, correct?
Yes, this is about Prop 51, just our district saying they're in support of Prop 51, which is the Facilities Act, to $9 billion, $3 billion to new construction, $3 billion to modernization, $2 billion to the community colleges, and $1 billion to charter schools. So it'll really help us down the line to work on high school number 4.
Any questions about this? Nope, please vote. Thank you. Okay, adoption of resolution. It's a public hearing here, so I'm going to have to open it up. Open up the public hearing at 6:56. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, again, this is on pupil textbooks and instructional materials. Anything we should know about this one?
It's the exact same report we did with CMI earlier, our yearly report on if we have the right materials and supplies for our students and teachers.
And do we?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to get that out there. Okay. Do we have any speakers? Anybody want to address this? No takers? Okay. Any board members want to speak on this? No? Okay, we'll close the public hearing at 6:57. Please vote. Thank you. Approval to apply for school facility program bond funds. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And this is for us to get in line on Prop 51?
We have to have the board pass a resolution stating that matching funds are currently exhausted, and it just helps our status with high school 4.
I'm sorry, this is a public hearing. I'm sorry. So we're going to open the public hearing at 6:58. What Candace said. And then, anybody want to speak on this one? Any board members want to speak on this? No? Okay. Hold on. Yes, you do? Yeah, pull the mic closer to you.
Can you go over this one? really quickly.
Do you want to explain one more time for?
Yeah, so Mrs. Twineman, this is a resolution and a public hearing that the board is required to do so that we can get in line for funding because the state funding is currently exhausted. And then we also the board is certifying that we currently do not have our local matching funds for High School 4. So this just helps our chances in the future of getting money for High School 4.
This is going to be required if you want for unification to get that high school built. This is going to be required essentially for the high school to be built and then for unification. I know you're a big proponent of unification, so. Okay, anybody else have any questions, comments? We'll close the public hearing at 6:59. Okay, please vote. Thank you. Okay, action item approval to designate Hector Gonzalez, Candace Rains, and Art Fritz as authorized representatives for the district's participation in the school facilities program. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
And I think it's pretty much what I just said, right?
Yeah, right now Art is the only representative as the lead, and I'm his backup, and so we want to make sure we put Hector in there since he's in charge of facilities.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on this one? No? Okay, please vote. Thank you. Information item on revolving cash report for August. Information on board policy series 0,000. Information item on board policy series 1,000. Information item on board policies series 2,000. This is the one that should have been taken out, the 15.5 for series 3,000. So we'll bypass that. Information item on board policy series 5,000. Information on board policy series 9,000. Adjournment to closed session if necessary.
Not necessary.
Thank you. Okay. Action item, reinstatement of student discipline matters. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
I think Ms. Cooley had you right there, Mr. Rouse. All right. Do we need any information on this one? Don't believe so, but
These are students that were at the academy or in the county program that had completed their terms of their expulsion and now applied to re-enter into the district, and these are ones that have been successful.
okay. Any questions? Nope. Please vote. Thank you. Action item, ratification of the agreement of expulsion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
This is for 1, 2, 3, 5 students. Is that 5 students?
These are the kids going the other way that
Go in the
got
opposite
into issues
direction.
and are going the other way.
All right. Any questions on these? No? Okay, please vote. Thank you. Bless you. Other items by the superintendent?
None, President Ellison.
Thank you. Other items by the Board of Trustees, Dr. Rouse, Ms. Twyman, Ms. Cooley, Mr. Agundes? None for me. Motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Cooley had you again. Please vote. All right, we are adjourned at 7:03.